e4, c5, knight f3, d6, bishop c4, knight f6, d3, e6, castle kingside, bishop e7, bishop b3, castle kingside, rook e1, b5, knight c3, a6, knight e2, bishop b7, knight g3, knight c6, c3, rook e8, d4, bishop f8, bishop g5, h6, bishop takes f6, queen takes f6, d5, e takes d5, bishop takes d5, rook a d8, a4, b4, c takes b4, c takes b4, rook c1, knight a5, bishop takes b7, knight takes b7, queen d4, queen takes d4, knight takes d4, knight c5, rook ed1, knight takes a4, rook a1, knight takes b2, rook db1, knight d3, knight c6, rook c8, knight takes b4, knight takes b4, rook takes b4, d5, rook ba4, d takes e4, knight takes e4, rook c2, g4, rook e6, rook d4, bishop e7, rook a4, g6, king g2, king g7, king f3, rook b2, rook d5, rook b3, check, king g2, rook b4, rook takes b4, bishop takes b4, knight c5, rook c6, knight d3, bishop d6, knight e5, bishop takes e5, rook takes e5, king f6, rook a5, king e6, h4, king d7, h5, g takes h5, rook takes h5, rook f6, rook a5, king c7, rook a1, king b6, Rook B1 check. King C5. Rook A1. King B5. Rook B1 check. King C4. Rook A1. King B4. Rook B1 check. King C3. Rook A1. King B2. Rook A5. King B3. Rook A1. King B4. Rook B1 check. King C5. Rook A1. King B6. Rook B1 check. King A7. Rook A1. Rook F4. King G3. Rook B4. F3. Rook B5. Rook H1. Rook B6. Rook A1. King B7. King F4. Rook F6 check. King E4. Rook E6 check. King F5. Rook B6. F4. King C7. King E5. King D7. King F5. King E7. King E5. Rook B5 check. King E4. A5. King F3. King D6. Rook D1 check. King C5. Rook D7. A4. Rook takes F7. Rook A5. Rook H7. A3. Rook takes H6. A2. Rook H1. A1 promotes to Queen. Rook takes A1. Rook takes A1. King E4. King D6. King F5. King E7. King G6. King F8.